I'm going to show you how you can beef up your Windows 11 searches, so let's get started with looking at the prefixes. A prefix is something you put at the beginning of your search. You can search for applications on Windows 11 by using the prefix app or apps. So to do this, hit Windows key S to activate the search menu. Then what you're going to do is you're going to type in app and then colon, and what you're going to get is this apps section. So it's only going to look for applications installed on your Windows 11 laptop, PC, device. So let's say I want to look for Visio, for example. As I start typing, you can see all the different searches that it is doing both locally and also for potential apps in the Microsoft Store. Now, the Microsoft Store options might not appear if, for example, you're on a work device which has Microsoft Store blocked. But if I continue typing Visio and I hit on it, then Visio will open for me. It will end up opening your applications. Now I'm going to close Visio and we're going to do another search for an application. And this time we're going to use the other alternative prefix, which is apps with a colon. And I'm going to search for Teams. Now we can see that appears. Now I'm going to hit it and now Teams will open and I can sign in or join a meeting, for example. You can also search the web. So to do this, we're going to hit Windows key S to activate the search menu. And let's say we want to search for Tate McRae. We can do this by typing web and then the colon. And now we bring up the web section of our Windows search. Now we can search the web. So I'm going to type in Tate McRae, for example, and you can see that it starts bringing up information. Now, this isn't the only prefix you can use. You can also use the prefix internet. So we're going to do internet colon, and what we get is the same window, but let's say this time I want to look for the weather in New York. Now, without actually having to go to Edge, Chrome, Brave, or to my widgets panel, I can have a look at the weather in New York, for example. And I can change this from New York to Milan or anywhere else in the world where I want to see the weather. And if you do want to have a deeper look at the search results, you can click Open Results in Browser, which will open Microsoft Edge. And then you can have a deeper look at all the search items available or at the web page you've clicked from the results. You can also refine your search by using the prefix doc, document and file to look for documents. So let's say I want to look for a file called sample, for example. You can just type in the file that you're looking for, but if you want to make sure that you are picking up the correct documents, what you can also do is you can use the prefix doc colon, where it will only look for documents. So if I clear out the search and go doc again, colon, it only looks at documents. If you add the plural of doc, so docs, it will also bring up documents. You can even type the word document and documents. And as well, you can also use file and files to look for documents. So let's say I want to look for a sales document. I've typed the word sale after the prefix of files, and you can see it's brought the best match for the word sale in any of my documents which have been indexed. If you can't find what you're looking for and it doesn't appear here, you do have the option to search in File Explorer by clicking on this little result. So then you can click on that, and then what Windows will do, it will have a look in all files where possible for the word sale, be it inside a file where it can, and also in the title. So as you can see in the file org data, there it has picked up the word sales in the document as well. So if we go back to Windows key S and we type in doc if I can type today, and I was to look for org, you see it doesn't initially pop up, but if I hit enter, we can then see that it searches everywhere. And then we've got org data, for example, which we can go and click into. So the search results in File Explorer can help delve deeper where Windows search may not be able to find it at first glance. Now, sometimes you also need to look for a setting in the Settings app. And sometimes what we like to do, for example, if we're looking for Windows Update, is we'll hit start and we'll start typing something like check for updates. And then you see we get the best match being check for updates, but then we get some of the other options as well. Now, if you want to look for something specifically within settings, you can type it, for example. So if I do updates again, you can also click any one of these little filters, so settings, but then you see what it's done here to the search. It's prefixed it with the word settings. So here you go, we now have all the results where update or update UPDA, for example, has appeared in Windows settings. So this looks not only just at settings within the settings app, but also brings stuff like troubleshooting elements from the Windows settings and sometimes some control panel settings too. So let's say I wanted to go to advanced Windows update options. I've clicked on it and it's opened that within the settings app for me. If you wanted to look for something on internet, so let's do Windows S, we type setting singular. It works the same as the plural, but let's say we want to look something on metered connection. So I've just typed METE and we can see some of the settings results on metered connections, like allowing VPNs, downloading maps. We can also look through other settings. So if I want to look at microphone, we can have a look at microphone privacy settings. So if I go to that, we see the settings apps readjust and we can have a look at what applications have access to our microphone. You can also search for folders on your Windows 11 device. Now, let's say, for example, I want to find the reports folder with all of our reports in, or the retail folder with some of our retail documents in. I can go and click Windows key S, and then I can type folder or folders, both work in this scenario. And then I'm just going to start typing RE, and you can see it starts bringing in folders that have those letters. And let's say I want to go to the retail one, I hit enter or I click on it, and it brings up your retail folder. Obviously, whatever file or folder you're looking for, it will bring up those results, and it will bring up that folder where you can look further for what it is that you need. Sometimes you also want to look for an image or a photo. Now, let's say that I want to look for an image of Leclerc, for example. So I can hit Windows key S and I can type in image and the colon or images, or also just the word photos, for example, or photo. And here I can start searching for images. So if I start typing in Leclerc, we can see there's an image that matches. And I can click on that and it will end up opening that image which I have selected in the Photos app. You can also search for web images. So I'm going to do Windows key S and I'm going to type in photo and I'm going to type in Leclerc happy. And then I can see various images where hopefully Leclerc looks happy on the web as well. You can also search for music. So if you do have any music locally saved, you can search for it too. So I'm going to hit Windows key S and I'm going to type the word music, for example, and I'm going to hit colon. And I can search for a song. So let's say I want to search for a song which has the word down in, and then I get the result of that song, and then I can hit enter and it will start playing in the media player that I have selected. You can also use the other prefixes of song or songs to also search for music that you have saved locally. You can also search through videos that you have saved locally as well. So if I go to Windows S and I type video in colon, I can start looking through videos. So if I want to look for a video that I think has the name Nonna in, I can type in NO, and as you can see, it's already brought up the video. Or you can also search for online videos, like music videos if you want to as well. So if I want to look for It's Okay, I'm Okay, for example, of the Tay McRae video, it can then start bringing back search results as if you're searching on the web for it. So then I could end up clicking on this one to go and see the trailer of that music video, and then it will open up in my browser. This one here is one that only works in your organization, so on a work device. I'm on my personal machine here, so if I do Windows key S and I search for people and colon, it doesn't bring up a people specific tab, and it doesn't show anyone within my organization because as a consumer you don't have an organization, you don't have people with you in that sense. Now I'm going to show you something in the form of wildcards where it is really helpful. Let's say that I'm looking for a document where I think it begins with sales or something, but I'm also then looking for a file that, has the month December in, and I can't really remember what the name looks like. So I could hit Windows key S and start searching December, to which I might not get any results, or if I shorten it down, we see I've got a result, which might be what we're looking for. But if we had D or DE, we don't really get any of those results coming back. But let's say I want to look for it a little bit differently. We can start off with what you think it is early on within the file name. So I'm going to put an S for now. I might add an A because I think it begins with SA, like in sales, but I know it definitely has DE towards the end. So we're going to hit an asterisk, and basically here what it's done is it's brought up all the things that kind of may be related to SA. It's also trying to see if you may have potentially misspelt something. So we're getting stuff like settings, storage settings, screensaver. We're getting stuff like this which might not be exactly what we want, and this is where we can then end up using our prefixes like file, for example, and now we've only got documents. And let's say that I want to search for DE, for example, at the end of it. So SA asterisk DE is only bringing up anything that begins with SA and has DE later on within the word. So the asterisk is representing where any of the letters in between could be anything. So it could be LES underscore, for example, in this. So it's looking for anything where SA is at the beginning and DE is later on, and that is what's returned in our results. Now, this is also useful, and where I use it better, for example, is going to be with our suffixes, which we will go through shortly. Hey there, quick interruption. If you're enjoying this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Have you heard or used these prefixes before? And will you use them going forward? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss more content like this in future. Alright, let's get back to it and crack on with the suffixes in Windows search. A suffix is something you put at the end of your Windows search. So you can search by file types as well to help refine your searches. So let's say we're looking for a file and we're looking for our sales report. So let's go to Windows search and we're going to search for sales. And you can see we've got two results of the same title and both in the same folder. The first one's in the retail folder and the second one is too. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit an asterisk. And then let's say we want the Excel file. We can then do xlsx, and it only returns us the Excel worksheet. But let's say we wanted what the other one was, which was a CSV, which is a comma separated value file. If I put in CSV instead, we get the Microsoft Excel comma separated values file. And then when you click open, what it will do is it will then open that CSV. Or if we had the Excel one, we could open the Excel file. Now, we could also do this with other file type formats. So let's say we want to look for our sample Word document. We can then do Control S, search sample, asterisk, docx, and we can only see the Word documents. And then if I click on sample 4, for example, it will then load and open that document for us. Same thing happens for images. So if I wanted to do Windows S and I wanted to search for files with the avif file format, so this is a file format you may not be familiar with, but it's an image format. You can see we've got all the images with that avif file format, and then if I click on one of these, it will then open that for me, granted that you have the correct extensions installed. Obviously I don't have the avif required extensions installed, so it's not showing, but if you have a picture tool, then it will open it for you. But then the same thing also works for JPEGs as well. That works in search. You can also search for PowerPoint files by doing asterisk pptx. You see we've got a PowerPoint file here. If I remove the X, you see some of the other PPT files. If I take this one, for example, and click open, it's a PowerPoint file that we have on our device. So it's just whatever the file format is, you can filter by that when you're searching. So whatever it may be, you can definitely do that. For example, a webp image file, if I was to go and do that same thing, it would happen, granted if I had the extensions installed for it as well. So it's really useful in helping to refine your search for whatever it is that you are looking for with the file format. Now I'm also going to show you that you can open those webp and avif files. So we're going to head to the location where those files are saved. So we're going to do asterisk avif, click open file location, which opens up pictures. And to open avif files, you can drag it into your browser such as Edge or Chrome, hit enter, and it will show the avif image. And the same works for webp files if they don't open in Photos. So these are actual files with data in them. And here is a little cheat sheet you can end up using going forward. On the left hand side, we have all the prefixes which we've run through, from searching apps, the internet, documents, settings, folders, music, photos, videos. And on the right hand side, we have the suffixes, the file types, such as CSVs, documents, GIFs, JPEGs, MP3s, MP4s, PDFs, PowerPoint files, text files, Excel files, and these are just some of the common ones which you may find useful as well.